Hi, I'm Biancci, and this is MamboNYC. Welcome to our second interview, Salsa Diva series. Today we're with Ahtoy. Hi, Ahtoy.
Hi.
So the first time we saw you dance at Casa de la Salsa, well, we really haven't been able to stop talking about it because the poise and the sophistication in which you execute the dance and salsa, I've never seen it in the salsa world so far. So can you tell us a little bit about your dance background?
Sure. I started out as a young girl dancing classical ballet. That was in Guam. That's where I grew up, and I was very privileged to have one of the principal dancers from the Houston Ballet Company moved to Guam. He fell in love with a girl from Guam, and he actually started the only ballet school there. And so I fell in love with it immediately, and I danced in a professional path for all until going to college. And then in college I decided to do ballroom, so competitive Latin and standard as well. So, there's modern in there, there's jazz, there's a lot of very disciplined dances, but I really think salsa is the one where you can really break out and have a great time with it. So, I try to use all of that discipline as much as possible without looking too stiff, but
Yeah. No, you don't look stiff at all. So you danced ballroom. What made you transition from ballroom to salsa?
Actually, it was a really terrible injury in my foot. I was practicing too much. Competitively, you really have to spend many hours with one partner working on just a very short routine that you're going to use to compete with on the dance floor. And there are 5 dances for each type of dance, so Latin dance and then standard. So if you're going to be a 10 dancer, do everything, that really adds up in the hours. I smashed the bottom of my left foot, and it had like a little hairline fracture, and the doctor told me I couldn't dance for about a year and a half. I was totally devastated. Yeah, I have never been in a situation where I couldn't dance, and I didn't realize then how much dance made me happy, or really was necessary for my happiness in life. And I think at the 8th month I woke up and I just couldn't get through the day. I know that sounds really silly, but for someone who's grown up with it always, it was absolutely necessary to do something about it. And someone told me that salsa would be low impact. Yeah, right. It was, that I could at least bend my knees and I wouldn't have to wear the 3.5-inch heels. Wow. And I could have fun learning a new dance while healing. And I have to say, honestly, I didn't really respect salsa very much because I saw it more as a social dance and not as something that you can use as a performance art or in competitions. And back then, there weren't really established world salsa competitions.
And when is back then?
2003. So that's when I started. But of course, I got stuck in there. I went to Santo Rico. What a move to go to one of the most serious schools. It was actually right nearby where I was working. So it was just coincidence that I went there. And then in 2.5 months, Thomas Guerrero asked me to join Exhibición. So then I really was stuck from then on.
Stuck. I feel so bad for you.
Well, it's no longer a choice. When you grow up as a dancer and you see it as a profession, right. Once you decide that it's something that you have to accomplish, you absolutely must be successful. So there's no choice. Once I got hooked, I thought this is something that I really need to be good at. Then I had to dedicate everything that I had to further that goal.
A true salsa addict. Yes.
I never really got addicted to salsa. People talk about that, getting bitten by the mambo bug, and you have to go social dancing. You really have to attend all the other congresses. You're on YouTube 24 hours a day. But I never got bitten by the bug, so I didn't want to go social dancing. I didn't want to go to the congresses. I wanted to perfect this dance in a way that is undeniably presentable and that could be respected by other audiences and other professions and other dance professions. That's really what I wanted. So,
well, it's interesting because we were speaking earlier, and if you check out Ahtoy on YouTube, you will see that the mobility and flexibility and the way she moves her upper body, it's like spaghetti. And so we were talking, and you were telling me that wasn't always so.
Absolutely not. In ballroom, okay. In ballet, let's start from the beginning. You learn stability first and foremost, right? So you learn stability in your core. You do a lot of Pilates. You strengthen your stomach, your chest, your back. Everything is to keep the the torso of your body as stable as possible while your limbs move really freely. So you learn grace in your limbs. You stretch your limbs. Your feet can go up to here and, wrap them behind your neck and all that. But you don't learn fluidity so much in the torso. And then in ballroom, it's almost the same thing because you get a lot of trained dancers competing ballroom. So they're very stable on top, and they might move their hips pretty rapidly. They have fast footwork and they're very sharp, but you don't see the kind of body movement that you have in salsa. It's really very unique. And I could not just, I like to think that I am a good emulator, but when I saw one of Thomas's best dancers, in my opinion, her name is Jahaira Casanova. You must remember her from all of their performances. But she has this incredible body movement, but she just does it. She goes, go like this, Ahtoy, just like this. And she would get so frustrated with me because I'd say, wait, does that go to the right and then the hips go to the left and what do my shoulders do? And she just wasn't able to vocalize it yet to someone like me who was really looking at this as a structure. Yeah. And I had to stretch. I had to enable the body to actually move like that, at least in one position, one time, and then try to get it to all go together.
And do it again. So how long did you rehearse for? How long did it take you?
A year, at least.
Doing what?
That's every day. Stretching, isolations. So that means you take your hips, you move it to the right, you move it to the left, you move it forward and back, and you make sure that you can get the biggest range possible in a static position, and then try to get it around a little bit more fluid. So that's hips, that's upper body, that's shoulders, that's back. That's basically all the parts that I never really think about in ballet or even in ballroom, and then you have to put it all together. And it's a lot of practice. But people won't believe that you really have to stretch things, body parts like your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your back.
Yeah, it's true, because I think when you see a fantastic dancer, you think that they were born that way. You don't realize the steps they took to become that way. So that's pretty impressive.
Well, I could always put my first performance on YouTube and then everyone would be convinced.
You could, but will you?
No, definitely not. I'm hoping that one is buried deep, very, very deep.
Okay, well, we won't go digging.